Tropical storm Elsa certainly packed quite a punch here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm Justin Michaels with the latest from here.
And we know that we're not done tracking Elsa. After landfall yesterday, we've now gone through most of the mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast is next. Tropical storm warnings up all the way into coastal New England. Winds that could still be over 50 miles per hour, along with a lot of rain and a flood threat. That also means downed trees and power outages are a real threat, especially for those of you that dealt with flooding already today before Elsa even arrived. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Weather Channel as our live continuing coverage is on right now. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott, joined by storm specialist Carl Parker. Carl, the 11 o'clock advisory is in, and as expected, no significant changes with that new advisory, but we do want to get everyone up to speed in case they're just tuning in now.
Yeah, it's still a very formidable storm, still causing a lot of problems in terms of wind and heavy rain. We just recently had a tornado warning, a 50-mile-per-hour storm. It is actually stronger than it was yesterday at this time, picking up a little bit of additional energy from the contrast between cooler air and warm ocean air, and also picking up speed, now moving at 25 miles per hour instead of 21 miles per hour. But it is amazing how long these things can continue to go and cause problems. I mean, all the way up the coast, essentially, and it's expected to be a 50-mile-per-hour storm through tomorrow morning as it passes along the Jersey Shore, Long Island, and then eventually into southeastern New England through the middle of the day tomorrow. So there you see the center now coming out into the Chesapeake Bay, and it's going to make its way towards the Delmarva in short order. A lot of heavy rain out ahead of that. We did just have a tornado warning in southeastern Maryland, and there's a pretty good bit of wind too. Look at this, Wallops Island now gusting to 52 miles per hour. We've been talking about the fact that we're expecting to see winds gusting over 50 in Ocean City for several hours tonight, and so there's some ground truth right there. That is the level of wind that is now approaching you in Ocean City, Maryland. 35-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Patuxent River Naval Air Station, and now gusting to 40 miles per hour in Elizabeth City. So even in the wake of this thing, those west and southwest winds coming through are also packing a punch. And there's also going to be an ongoing flash flood threat. There's a flash flood warning now in southeastern Virginia. The rain is now at least moving out, but it's going to be coming up into areas that were absolutely hammered by heavy rain earlier today, and we'll show you that in a moment. Another thing that we're watching is what's going on with the low-level winds. And so our winds at the surface are flowing into the low coming out of the east, and our winds at 5,000 feet up are very fast, 50-plus miles per hour, and coming out of the south and southeast. And so that change in wind direction over a relatively short distance creates a spin in the atmosphere. We call that vorticity, and that spin can then get into thunderstorms that develop. And so you've got a tornado watch in effect for southern Maryland and also parts of Virginia. That has now been extended until 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's going to be among the many threats that we're watching for tonight. Very large flash flood watch in effect that affects just about the entire megalopolis in the Northeast. And again, we had terrific heavy rain earlier today in New York City, some really serious flooding. There were many, many reports of water rescues along the Deegan Expressway, for example. A dozen people were rescued there. And look at what is now coming. So, a lot of the water has run off at this point, but the flash flood guidance is so low right now, it would take as little as an inch or maybe even a half of an inch of rainfall in 1 hour to cause flash flooding. And that is exactly what is going to be coming in early this morning. Then that moving up into southern New England. There, too, there is going to be a significant flash flood threat in Connecticut, in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, in New Hampshire, and on up into Maine as well. By the way, another round of storms coming into New York by late tomorrow. Here's a closer look at New York City. We're really, really concerned about what may happen here, again, because of what happened this afternoon, because there's already a lot of water in the ground. There's water that is running off, and you've got this big mass of heavy rain coming in at about 4 o'clock in the morning. So about 5 hours from now, it starts to really pick up in intensity, continues then through 5 and 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, which means that the morning rush is probably going to be be a nightmare across a lot of the tri-state area. Also, very heavy rain in Long Island and some really strong wind coming in, but the stronger wind is going to be farther east and more towards the eastern end of Long Island. And then it moves out. And things do improve by the middle of the day, but tomorrow morning's rush hour could be very difficult. And again, I mentioned the flash flood guidance. That tells us how much rain you can get in 1 hour before you see flash flooding. So you've got a really large area where 1 inch to 2 inches is what would be required, and we'll definitely get over 1 inch an hour in that banding that comes up. And then here in the orange and yellow, it is between 1 inch and 1/2 inch, or maybe even less than 1/2 inch. I mean, that is the area that was hit really hard earlier today in New Jersey and up through the Bronx. And so, that's what's on the way tonight. We're going to get those rainfall rates. It's going to be enough to cause flash flooding. So do be aware that there certainly could be more tomorrow morning. Well, Elsa's wind and rain battering the mid-Atlantic tonight, and it roared through Virginia Beach a little earlier this evening. Justin Michaels was there.
Throughout the course of this evening, Virginia Beach certainly saw its fair share of different kinds of weather and different dangers. A tornado watch was in effect all throughout the course of the evening, but western parts of Virginia Beach into Norfolk, much of Hampton Roads did see a tornado warning for several minutes tonight. A tornado warned band that was going through. Luckily for us here, right on the water, the ocean's right behind me, we didn't have that, but we were ready to duck into our safe space and our safe place if necessary. What we did see here tonight in Hampton Roads was very intense winds, gusting up over to 40 miles per hour, sustained winds 25 to 30 miles per hour, probably a little bit higher from time to time as the different bands were rolling through. And we also saw consistent rain for hours. It'll be interesting to see when they finally tally that up and see what the totals were, how many inches of rain fell over the course of Elsa here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Another thing, out of an abundance of caution that was done by the lifeguards and the beach patrol, was close the beach. Not just not go in the water, but the beach itself was closed for hours and hours this afternoon and into the evening, making sure people were staying as safe as possible and not running the risk of those intense winds blowing things and whipping things up and possibly causing problems out on the beach as people were walking through. The good news is this is eventually going to die out overnight, and your Friday morning commute should look much better. And then going into the weekend, it should be quite a lovely weekend. It's going to be hot and it's going to be sunny, and that's exactly what you want when you're at the beach. Make sure you wear those that high SPF sunblock. Definitely what you want to do this weekend here in Virginia Beach. I'm Justin Michaels, the Weather Channel.
And of course, still be worried and concerned and monitoring the beach impacts behind the storm. That not only includes where Justin was around the Norfolk area, but also Atlantic City, the Jersey Shore, up through Boston. The storm's headed towards you. Very often the rip current threat is still elevated behind the storm because you have water piling up out ahead of it, and then that water has to leave, right? The pressure difference takes some time to equal out, and you could have some pretty intense rip currents behind the storm. So let's follow it up the coastline, time this out for you for some of those impacts, including here around Rehoboth Beach and the Delaware side and Ocean City, Maryland. Right now, the rain is moving in. Okay, so we're talking about pretty steady rains for the next several hours, easing up as we go through the middle of the overnight, and by morning things are better. But again, there will still be that chance for a few showers on the back edge of our storm and a high rip current risk as we go through the morning, because all this wind pointed at the coast here overnight tonight is piling up the water, and eventually again it has to go back out to sea. And so the rip currents are often worse behind the storm as the sun comes out. So keep that in mind. But very gusty winds, 40, 50, even 60 mile per hour gusts. A quick look at the Atlantic City area and the south side of the Jersey Shore. Heavy rain overnight. It's really going to be coming down here. The trend is not your friend. The positioning of this low backing west just enough to continue to give us that heavy rain a little bit longer towards Egg Harbor or Long Beach or Seaside, Point Pleasant. Not a comfortable start to your day. Again, here too, it clears out by the end of the day, but you got to get there first. And that water will be piling up because of these very gusty winds. At the worst of it, 40, 50, maybe some 60 mile per hour gusts, and then they go offshore. And again, we have to keep showing you this because the trend here for the New York City metro area brings the heavy rain in to areas that, do not need the rain, and the flash flood guidance here is very low. That window 5 to 8 a.m. could be very difficult. And once again, here is a look at that flash flood guidance. Let's get a little bit closer in to New York City, because there is a corridor here that could see flooding with a ½ inch of rain or less. We're going to see that in an hour, and we can quickly see if there was an update on the 3-hour flash flood guidance in this same area. Give that a second to populate. Yeah, in 3 hours, the similar colors here, Carl, a ½ inch to an inch of rain in 3 hours would be enough for flooding. And again, we have 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. heavy rain. That's not a good setup, no matter how you slice it.
I mean, you know, that really kind of tells you that you should probably delay your morning commute.
Yeah, if you
you're
could
going
wait
into that
until
area.
10 a.m., 11 a.m. to be out driving around the New York City area, Northeast Jersey, that's a great idea. Let the other people get stuck. You'll know which roads are closed and then get in.
Yeah, it's because we're expecting that it's going to be very, very heavy tomorrow morning. We've already had a stormy day in a lot of the Northeast corridor. This is Bergen County in New Jersey, and you know, Mark and I were looking at this earlier, thinking that at least quarter-size hail here, probably, and maybe even larger in some areas. And so, you know, certainly it's been a rough day today. You do get hail when you've got cold air aloft. You don't have cold air aloft with tropical systems, so we will not have a hail threat as the tropical storm comes up. We will have the heavy rain threat. We will have gusty wind. We will have a tornado threat. And let's talk a little bit more about the wind. And so you see the area of probability of tropical storm force winds, that coming up and along the coast and into southern parts of New England. And this is how it looks right now. We're at 20 miles per hour right now in Ocean City, but just to the south, Wallops Island, they are now gusting to 50 miles per hour. So that is coming in. And in fact, we expect that you will be gusting to 50, 60 miles per hour in Ocean City for a lot of the night tonight. It's going to be several hours. So probably kind of a scary night along the coast in Maryland and Delaware and up into New Jersey. You notice the winds are light in here with the center of circulation coming right across southern Jersey, but still seeing some strong wind in Ocean City. And then finally things do begin to get a little better by mid-morning. Up into New England, I've got some strong wind coming towards the eastern end of Long Island. So 8 o'clock in the morning, about 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts there. Again, we're not seeing a lot of wind in New York City or surrounding areas because the center of the low is very close. But up into southeastern New England, Block Island, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, the Cape, all of those spots are going to get hit hard by wind. 40 to 50 mile per hour wind on the Cape, most likely through the middle of the day tomorrow and even through late afternoon as that low finally does begin to pull away late tomorrow. Then winds will slowly begin to improve. Mark, over to you.
So again, why are we so concerned about the New York City metro area? Well, we can show you what it looked like in New York earlier today. This was not rain from Elsa. This was rain because of a stalled out front and some just nasty thunderstorms that set up in one spot with too much heavy rain. Those, you know, barriers on the highway blocked the water from leaving, and it turned it into a river here. Gosh, some expensive cars getting flooded out as well. Really dangerous situation from earlier this afternoon. Now again, I will remind you that was not Elsa's rain. This in Eastchester from earlier today was not Elsa's rain. It was a lot of rain. It was flooding. And it is the environment that Elsa is now moving into. So the grounds are absolutely saturated. The rivers are high. The bandwidth is low. And thus the chance for flash flooding is going to be real low as well. Look at that. I mean, the downspouts in the gutter system here just cannot keep up, cannot handle it. The streets were just filled, and you know, people were pulling off that street through a puddle. Now, right now, we still have some decent rains across northern New England. And again, as this moves to the coast, that will then be the area that Elsa's rain moves into. But very similarly, none of this is associated with Elsa yet at all. That's all way down to the south still. And again, flash flood guidance is very low. New York City, ½ inch of rain or so in an hour. I don't think Elsa's rain is going to affect northern Pennsylvania or southern upstate New York, but also not a lot of bandwidth in the soils for flooding there. Here comes that tropical feed and our front. These two work in concert, right? That new front swinging through is what is going to swing Elsa out of here very quickly. So it's good that that front is finally getting its act together, first because we don't need any more stalled out storms, and second because it moves Elsa's rains out of there. Although behind the system there certainly could be a little bit more. So through the overnight hours, this is the most likely spot for flooding, including New York, but also say the Bronxville area and Yonkers, western portions of Connecticut. This does expand because of that kind of 1-2 punch for coastal New England. Overnight, you see some rain come through because of that front, and then you see Elsa's rain tomorrow. So here also a likelihood of flash flooding, Boston, Portland, and the rest of coastal Maine. We'll be right back.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
At Philadelphia, we know what makes the perfect smear of cream cheese. You need only the freshest milk and cream. That one. And the world's best, and possibly only, Chamelier. Philadelphia. Schmear perfection.
3 words. Warm strawberry jam.
3 more words. Perfect as is.
Frozen bites taste like ice cream. It's science.
What happens when you make power your thing above everything? You decide fast is never fast enough. You put muscle over matter, and you make horsepower a superpower. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Muscle.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Oh, are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool? So you only pay for what you need. Sorry? Leo, you're an animal!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The string trimmer starts instantly. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. And trim non-stop for over a mile. Now quieter than ever, the blower reaches speeds of 120 miles per hour. Use Makita's cordless products anytime, anywhere. One system, endless possibilities. Now get 2 extra free batteries.
Smile.
You could pick from hundreds of law firms in New York or New Jersey for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case. But would you be confident that you made the best choice? Weitz & Luxenberg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years experience, they have New York's highest asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Weitz & Luxenberg has our backs.
Go with the firm that understands your injury, your job, and the courts. Call Weitz & Luxenberg today.
Call Weitz & Luxenberg, the firm that has won 6 of the top 13 product liability verdicts in New York over the last decade. They have represented thousands of your fellow workers in the tri-state area for over 30 years. They will guide you through every step of the litigation and settlement process. This may be the most important financial decision you will ever have to make. Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 73 degrees with light rain. Tonight, rain heavy at times, low 72. 1 to 2 inches of rain expected. Friday, rain and thunder, high 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This is J Country. Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder. I will dig till my hands bleed.
Tubes of J!
Cha-ching!
You never know what you're gonna find.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Takes a different kind of a person to want to do this.
Anything can shut you down.
Heaviest one yet. It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. There you see a live look at St. Mary's County, Maryland, where we are seeing our second tornado warning of the evening. We've seen some driving rain on this camera, and certainly that's going to be a threat as well. There's also an overlapping flash flood warning, which we will tell you about. And that tornado threat will continue for some time in southern Maryland and southeast Virginia. So let's take a look at the latest on the warning here. Tornado warning for Calvert and St. Mary's counties until 11:45. Radar indicated sort of a broad area of rotation right in there, and that is now moving off to the northwest. So that's going to come towards Lexington Park at 11:27, and then California by 11:31. Possible tornado coming your way. And then expanding the picture out a little bit, we see there's a good bit of wind. Otherwise, winds now gusting to 33 at the Patuxent Naval Air Station, and now gusting to 47 miles per hour at Wallops Island. That is what is coming for Ocean City. Some really strong wind on the way in Ocean City. Could easily gust over 50 miles per hour for several hours. Also looking at a flash flood threat. We mentioned that earlier, St. Mary's County, and we've got a considerable tag on that. That is something new that the Weather Service does when they feel that there is a life-threatening threat of flash flooding. And so we're looking at 2 to 3 inches of rain already coming down here, and another 1 to 2 inches on the way. So please be very careful. Could be high water showing up there in St. Mary's County. So ongoing tornado watch until 2 o'clock in the morning for eastern Maryland and parts of Virginia as well. That does include Ocean City, and that does include Salisbury, Maryland. And then the other big threat that we're looking at is the flash flood threat, and that extending up along the 95 corridor through much of the megalopolis. And we've been talking about how much rain has come down in New York City today, and there's going to be a lot more on the way into tomorrow morning. Just a really big mass of rain moving up and into New York City. This is a closer look at this high resolution model here. And so, you consider what happened today. We had multiple water rescues because of all the heavy rain. And look at this. That is coming in, at least as the model sees it. And, that's going to be inside of 5 hours here when that moves in. And that'll continue into 5 o'clock in the morning, into 6 o'clock, into 7 o'clock. And so it could very well be that there is once again a lot of flash flooding in the morning. You may want to delay your morning commute and just, tune into the Weather Channel and, sort of take stock. Get a good look at what's going on, because you don't want to be one of those, people that's stuck on the highway somewhere. Again, there were multiple water rescues on, I think, the Deegan Expressway earlier today, Mark. And, we don't want to see that again in the morning. And it's entirely possible that that will happen again tomorrow morning.
Bronx River Expressway, that corridor between Yonkers and Bronxville was underwater. Cars were floating, and some were not floating. Some were sunk.
Yeah.
All you could see was the top of the hood. It was a real scary scene, and we don't want that repeated. So you heard it here first. Carl says you all get to go into work late if you work in the New York City area. Just tell your boss and send all the hate mail back to Carl Parker at the Weather Channel. But no, for real, it could be a very dangerous morning around the New York City area, and thus it's certainly better to delay. And many of you east of D.C., certainly east of Philadelphia, maybe some of that rain in Philly itself. New York, we've been talking about you with the problems. Boston, later in the morning into early afternoon. And again, worse to the east, the Cape, Nantucket. I would not want to be on that ferry. Then again, I get seasick in a bathtub, so I don't want to be on that ferry at any time, much less when there's a tropical storm coming through. Let's show you what's happening again right now. Here is that rain going through portions of Maryland into Delaware. Model doing a good job at picking up on that shape. Okay, by midnight, exiting Maryland, really focused in on Delaware. Heavy rain for the next several hours, but easing up for that zone. It's going to bend north reasonably quickly. The winds will continue, however. As we take a look at the wind forecast here, Ocean City 50 to 60, Rehoboth Beach 40 to 50 for the next several hours. Then the winds shift around by about 3 a.m. That's really when I'm concerned about trees coming down and power issues, because the trees are, fighting it the whole time, and then the winds switch around, and that's often when they let go. Plus, we'll have saturated grounds by that point. Going up towards the Atlantic City area, it is raining now in Atlantic City. Now that it's raining, it's going to be a long time before that ends. We'll see the heavier rain coming through, say 1, 2, 3 a.m. And some of the models are suggesting that this will last even a little bit longer as that rain wraps back around. And the all-important New York City forecast, the flash flood guidance, as we've been talking about, is very, very low. A ½ inch, not only in 1 hour, but a ½ inch in as many as 3 hours could cause flash flooding across this area. And the models suggest now that we are going to see that with steady to heavy rain moving in 4 to 5 a.m. and continuing to rain through, say, 7 to 8 a.m. So you're going to get to at least a ½ inch. You can get several inches, and that would be really bad news for the roads there. So again, a flood risk. Farther north, it takes a little bit longer to come in. Hartford to Providence, mid-morning, then clearing out quickly. Notice that next wave comes through. That is associated with the front that we're watching that is swinging Elsa out, but also could bring some insult on top of injury rain. We'll be right back.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
At Philadelphia, we know what makes the perfect schmear of cream cheese. The recipe we invented over 145 years ago, and me, the world's best, and possibly only, chemilier. Philadelphia, schmear perfection.
Worst of all, you never call, baby.
Daydreaming again? But I love you still.
You know I'm driving, right?
I do.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Garden fresh salad, drizzled with our signature Italian dressing. Or 4 homemade soups to choose from. Plus, fresh out of the oven breadsticks. Our famous never-ending first course is so good, you might just forget you still have more to look forward to. Enjoy never-ending super salad and breadsticks. On us before every meal. Only at Olive Garden. We're all family here.
For people who are a little intense about hydration, Neutrogena Hydro Boost. Lightweight, clinically proven, 48-hour hydration for that healthy skin glow. Neutrogena, for people with skin.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
There's interest you accrue and interests you pursue. Plans for the long term and plans for a long weekend. Assets you allocate and ones you hold tight. At Thrivent, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. And with the right guidance, you can get the financial clarity you need and live a life rich in meaning and gratitude. To learn more, text THRIVE to 444-555 or visit Thrivent.com.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms, every customer. New 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
It seemed like a normal day.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos. Go, go!
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. Special coverage tonight as Elsa slams into the Northeast, an area that already had severe weather and flooding earlier today, and tropical storm warnings extend through the Jersey Shore, New York City into Long Island, Boston to the Cape, Providence, Rhode Island. Gosh, there are a lot of people that are going to see the impacts from this storm. We are not done yet. And with the storm moving through the mid-Atlantic, we have some very heavy rain right now going through portions of, say, St. Mary's County, Maryland, as an example. Very heavy rains continuing. Now, I want to bring in Carl Parker with me. Carl, look at this. It is wild how much rain is filling in this intersection. Cars are driving through this, and not a great plan right now.
Yeah, you know, we're looking at this on the map. So this is the intersection of Route 5 and also 246, which is Great Mills Road. You can actually see that right there. That intersection is right next to the St. Mary's River. And so I'm wondering if that's not just, you know, regular street ponding there, but actually perhaps some of the river getting out of its banks, because that has been a really dramatic rise. I mean, we were looking at this, 15, 20 minutes ago, and there was none of that there. And
is that car going to make it? I mean, that was quite the splash.
Yeah, and you know, that has really come up dramatically. And yeah, look at that. They're going slow through there. I mean, you know, every time you do that, you're really taking a chance. I mean, there's just no, you know, question about the fact that you cannot know exactly what the depth is or how far it's coming, especially at night, how fast it's coming up, how deep it is, what the nature of the road is underneath. I mean, these are all things that you're guessing as you're driving through. And, you know, once that water gets into the intake, well, then it's game over.
Yeah, I mean, that water came right up against the hood of that car that just went through, and cars are going by pretty fast as well. And so, you know, with the river being right there, that's what we were worried about all along the way, with basically the wow.
Whoa. Wow. Wow, look.
I'm amazed that car made it. The red car got the warning from the car ahead of it and was like, nope. But even so, the heaviest rain coming when the onshore flow is backing up the normal way that the water leaves. So if the river's right there, we know we have screaming winds coming in, you know, 50, 60 miles per hour right now, pointed right at that area. So the rain that's coming down then can't exit, and it is really raining.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some, you know, some water being driven up through the bay and then into the St. Mary's River. But yeah, that St. Mary's River is right on that intersection. And so, we'll keep our eyes on that. But the way that came up, I mean, to me, that suggests that the river could be involved in that. So let's take a look at the warning now, the flash flood warning that is now in effect. So this is the area that we were watching just moments ago, St. Mary's County now under warning, and a considerable threat tag. That means there's potentially life-threatening flooding ongoing there in southern parts of St. Mary's County. That's the exact area that we were looking at just moments ago, and it is still raining very heavily there. So, we've seen this kind of thing over and over again today. Also, by the way, tornado watch in effect across southern Maryland and parts of Virginia. There's going to be a threat for that, but right now we're more focused on this heavy rain threat. And, I don't know if we want to go back to that live picture there, but, again, this is something that we weren't looking at any of this water. I mean, we took this camera. I really think it was about 15 minutes ago when we took it, and we saw that there was rain, but there was nothing on the road there at all. So that's how quickly, I mean, that is the very definition of a flash flood right there.
An astounding water rise, the combination of potentially the river climbing and backing up the wrong way because of the strong wind, but very heavy rain across this area also. And there are a shocking number of cars that are still out and about and traveling through this very area. So if you're watching, if you know people in this area, tell them to stay put. If they're somewhere safe and dry, you don't want to be the first car that realizes that the water's up higher than you thought it was.
Yeah, it's really something. And look at this guy right here. Look at that. Just charged right into it. Isn't that something? We'll have much more on this flood threat coming up in just a few minutes.
You're strong. You power through chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Most patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox. So text to see how you can save. Botox has been preventing headaches and migraines before they even start for 10 years. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
I'm Morgan, and there's more to me than HIV. More love, more adventure, more community. But with my HIV treatment, there's not more medicines in my pill. I talked to my doctor and switched to fewer medicines with Dovato.
Dovato is for some adults who are starting HIV-1 treatment or replacing their current HIV-1 regimen. With just 2 medicines in 1 pill, Dovato is as effective as a 3-drug regimen to help you reach and stay undetectable. Research shows people who take HIV treatment as prescribed and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex. Don't take Dovato if you're allergic to its ingredients or if you take dofetilide. Taking Dovato with dofetilide can cause serious or life-threatening side effects. Hepatitis B can become harder to treat while on Dovato. Don't stop Dovato without talking to your doctor, as your hepatitis B may worsen or become life-threatening. Serious or life-threatening side effects can occur, including allergic reactions, lactic acid buildup, and liver problems. If you have a rash and other symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop Dovato and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems, or if you are, may be, or plan to be pregnant. Dovato may harm your unborn baby. Use effective birth control while on Dovato. Do not breastfeed while taking Dovato. Most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, trouble sleeping, tiredness, and anxiety.
So much goes into who I am. HIV medicine is one part of it. Ask your doctor about Dovato. I did.
Oh, this is a mouth-watering Marco's pizza. And this is a new build-your-own-pizza bowl with no crust and up to 4 toppings for $7.99. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
This is new Special K dipped with crunchy flakes dipped in creamy, chocolatey goodness and tossed with real almonds. New Kellogg's Special K dipped. Do what's delicious.
Ask my history teacher where to go to college. He said, go where you like the weather. Best advice I've ever gotten.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. You are looking at a live camera view of Great Mills, Maryland, St. Mary's County. And this is this particular spot is along Route 5 and the intersection of 5 with 246 or Great Mills Road. And I'll tell you, folks, we were looking at this camera just moments ago, and there was no water there. Now, this intersection is very close to the St. Mary's River, so I think that we've probably seen a rise on that river due to rainfall and maybe water backing up because of the flow being driven around the tropical storm. But it has been a really spectacular rise of water there at the intersection, and you know, the very definition of a flash flood. And there is an ongoing flash flood warning in that area with a considerable threat tag, and that means life-threatening flash flooding. But Mark, it is kind of crazy. There's somebody turning around finally there, but we have seen so many people just drive right through that.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at a feed that's just a little bit ahead of the one that we're showing on air, and I think police are entering the scene and trying to slow down cars up the road a bit. I'm now seeing some different flashing lights in both directions, so I think first responders are now getting into this area and trying to route people away from that water. So that is some good news because it was really coming up fast.
Yeah, it's been quite a night in many spots. And we also now want to tell you about a new tornado warning that is in Delaware, and that is for Sussex County. Tornado warning here, and this is moving off to the northwest. So let's take a look at the velocity data. And so what we're looking at is that little notch there that is just off to the west of Ocean View. This is now moving towards the northwest at 40 miles per hour. So tracking that forward, that's coming into Blackwater right now, then into Clarksville at 11:39, Holiday Pines, Fairmount, and Benham if it is still going at that time. So possible tornado here, and this is now in Delaware. Not a huge surprise that we're seeing this because there is a terrific amount of wind shear now in Delaware. You see how the winds are coming out of two different directions. These are winds in blue at 5,000 feet and winds in orange at the surface. And when you have that level of turning of the wind along with thunderstorms rolling through, well, then you're going to get some spin in those storms. And so that is why there is now a tornado watch in effect, and that is for southern Maryland, parts of Virginia. It does not actually cover Delaware. We'll see if there is some decision to extend that farther north. But again, the current tornado warning is now into parts of Delaware. And once again, that is a tornado warning in effect for Sussex County, and that is moving towards the northwest, generally moving towards Georgetown. This is just off to the west of and southwest of Rehoboth Beach as it's moving to the north. Another big threat tonight is the flash flood threat. We've been talking about that all day today, and you've got a flash flood watch all the way up the coast, Mark, and it was just such a terrible day today in parts of the New York City metro, and we've got so much more rain on the way overnight and tomorrow morning.
Yeah, let's talk about both of those zones, right? Where it's flooding now, this is again a live look. We're seeing far less car traffic. We've got I believe a public works vehicle right in here. You can see the yellow lights. Just down the street this way, I saw a police vehicle and another one of those public works vehicles go through. So I think they're trying to route people around this. There's also an interesting flashing lights. I can't tell if that's another street light flashing or maybe another a first responder or a public works vehicle off on that side street as well. But the good news is we haven't seen anyone stalling out here yet. We haven't seen anybody recently. We haven't seen quite as many cars. So hopefully they're blocking off this area so nobody gets in trouble. Look at all the rain, though. I mean, in the street lights here, you can really see how heavy that rain is coming down. It is pouring. So that's what's happening now. But earlier today, out ahead of Elsa's rain, we had all kinds of flooding around the New York, New Jersey metro area. We can show you Yonkers. Yonkers is right near Bronxville, just north of the city. A true commuting town from and to New York City. And, people had to abandon cars and get to higher ground. several cars in this area. I believe this is the Bronx River Expressway, but I cannot guarantee that. I know that road had a lot of rain and flooded cars. People were stuck. Like someone carrying somebody else there. I think that is a first responder carrying somebody to higher ground. Just a terrible scene earlier. That's what this storm, Elsa, is moving into. That water's still around, people. It doesn't drain that fast. Then, this is Hackensack, New Jersey, and we were hoping to knock that water back, but here in Hackensack, it was coming out. Look at that, is a manhole cover. When the pressures get all wonky like this because of flooding, things in the water system start flowing the wrong way. So we're seeing water coming up from the manhole covers. We saw that actually in Penn Station today. Water was like sprouting out of one of the covers in Penn Station. Subways were flooding in New York City. Just a mess. So again, we know that we have more rain coming in. Now, on any given day, the subways are pumping out all kinds of water because they're underground. But let's face it, these subways were built forever ago, before the current state of our atmosphere, holding the kind of water it does, seeing the rate of rain that we have now. We're asking the subway to do stuff it was never built to be able to do, and to manage water amounts and rates that it was never built to be able to do. Unfortunately, with Elsa coming into this area, I think we're going to have more flooding. This is what's known as the flash flood guidance. Red on these maps indicates a ½ inch of rain. You get it in an hour, you'll see some flooding. But check this out. This is your 3-hour map for where we could see a ½ inch of flooding, a ½ inch of rain in 3 hours causing flooding. And the 6-hour map also has that. Oof, that's a bad scene for more rain from Elsa coming into that same area tonight.
When you order carryout, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Choose Domino's Carside Delivery and put our new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
I don't feel sick. Why should I cure my hepatitis C?
How can I handle one more thing?
You can stay on track and be cured in only 8 weeks with Mavyret. You can keep your momentum with Mavyret.
Before starting Mavyret, your doctor will test if you've had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV-1, or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take. Don't take Mavyret with anazanavir or rifampin, or if you've had certain liver problems. If you've had or have serious liver problems other than Hep C, there's a rare chance they may worsen. Signs of serious liver problems may include yellowing of the skin, abdominal pain or swelling, confusion, and unexplained bleeding or bruising. Tell your doctor if you develop symptoms of liver disease. Common side effects include headache and tiredness.
Now I can live life cured and feel free.
8 weeks was faster than I thought.
Now it's your turn to keep your momentum with Mavyret.
Talk to your doctor about Mavyret.
Frank is a fan of fast. He's a fast talker, a fast walker. And for unexpected heartburn, Frank is a fan of Pepcid. It works in minutes. Nexium 24-hour and Prilosec OTC can take 1 to 4 days to fully work. Pepcid, strong relief for fans of fast.
Curiosity pushes you forward. It's what inspired Meiomi to create an unrivaled wine using the best from California to push flavor in new directions for a taste like no other. Meiomi, flavor forward.
So then I said to him, you ought to customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need. Hot dog or chicken? Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Welcome to the new tomorrow, where it's not enough to do it alone, and working together means going all in. To move forward takes a different kind of technology partner, one who's always in your corner, and who understands that shared goals are the only ones that matter. And providing that kind of partnership is what we're built to do. Spectrum Enterprise.
LL Flooring had all the answers. They're experts. Bellawood, Artisans, Manhattan, Chevron.
Oh, this? It's a Bellawood Artisan. Bellawood. You know the Artisan one.
From inspiration to installation, visit LL Flooring.
If there's pain when you try to poo and going sometimes feels like you push through a pineapple or two, Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 72 degrees with light rain. Tonight, rain heavy at times, low 72. 1 to 2 inches of rain expected. Friday, rain and thunder, high 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. You were looking at live pictures of southern Maryland. This is in St. Mary's County, Great Mills, Maryland, and that is Great Mills Road coming into Route 5 or Point Lookout Road. And we saw an incredible, rapidly rising area of water on the road. There was nothing, and then within 15 minutes, the water was completely covering the intersection. Now it appears to have receded some, but there is an ongoing flash flood warning, and that, folks, is the very definition of a flash flood. When it rises rapidly, and before you know it, you've got trouble on the roads. And right now we are watching an ongoing flood threat, but also an ongoing tornado threat as well. Let's tell you about the latest tornado warnings in effect in eastern Maryland and also in Delaware. There's one tornado warning in effect for Wacomico and Worcester counties, and so this is just outside of Ocean City, Maryland, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we'll get a better look at what's going on with the velocity data. I was watching this just moments ago, and so that area right there where you see a sort of a brightness and then a little less brightness, that is the rotation that is now showing up and moving off to the northwest. So that's going to come very close to Salisbury, coming into Cedartown right now. And actually, it looks like we got a brand new scan. So I'm going to move that ahead just a little bit. And that is actually tightened up in that last scan right there. So that is now coming into Wesley and moving towards Whiten as well in both of those areas. Possible tornado coming your way, so heads up on that. Maybe Newark as well. Then coming across, it looks like might be that 90 corridor. Whiten appears to be squarely in the way of this possible tornado, and then into Truett and Pittsville beyond that. So heads up on that. And then when we expand the picture, look out a little bit farther here, you see there are other cells that are showing some rotation. There's some rotation right there, and arguably some more rotation farther to the south as well. In addition to that, there's also now a tornado warning farther north. This is for Sussex County in Delaware, and we'll take a look at the velocity data in this case. And here too, we're seeing some rotation just west of Long Neck, and that is moving off to the, again, northwest, about 40 miles per hour, coming towards Fairmount and towards Benham as well, and then eventually coming into the Milton area if it is holding together. But a whole series of areas of rotation with those storms. And then we're watching that flash flood warning that with a considerable threat tag, and that is the area that we were just looking at moments ago, where the water continues to recede right now. So this may have indeed just been a backed up drain or something like that. But certainly this has been a big part of the story with this tropical storm. Very heavy rain, also gusty wind. Winds now gusting up to 32 miles per hour in Ocean City and Wallops Island, and continues to be gusty in the wake of the storm, now gusting to 36 in Norfolk in Virginia and Tidewater, Virginia. Now, tomorrow, we're going to watch this thing, and really not tomorrow, I mean in the next several hours, we're going to watch this thing move up through the Jersey Shore and into New York and Long Island, and then up into southern New England tomorrow morning. And it will continue to roll up through eastern Mass through the morning. So there's going to be a really serious flood threat along with that, especially here in eastern parts of New England. Now, let's take a closer look at New York City, because they had a terrible time with flooding earlier today because of a stalled front across the area. There were dozens of water rescues. And look at this big mass of rain coming up 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, still going strong. We find more of the same into 8 o'clock in the morning as well. And so, Mark, this is very bad news. As you've been mentioning, the flash flood guidance is extremely low, indicating that, as little as a half of an inch to an inch of rain in an hour may be enough to cause flash flooding. If that comes in like that, if this model verifies, we are absolutely going to be looking at flash flooding again tomorrow in New York City. So might be a really good case for just tuning in and making sure you know exactly what's going on before you get out and go out into the, onto the roads there in New York City.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to show everybody that flash flood guidance, but I want to start with the power outages that are out there already, because I think we can divide this in two. This is because of Elsa. Because of the storm coming through coastal communities of Virginia, especially coastal Virginia, seeing some power outages now. The power outages that we have in here are from earlier today. And so some of you are fighting through to try to clear out drains, clear out water from basements, get power back on before Elsa's rains move in. And as Carl mentioned, the flash flood guidance here around the New York City area is really, really low. They divide this up in time scale. So this is the amount of rain needed to cause flooding. This in a time scale of 1 hour. In 1 hour, if we get a half inch of rain, these dark red colors, a half inch of rain would cause flooding. Now you could say, okay, well, maybe we don't get there, but how about this? In 3 hours, there is a zone here of yellows and reds. So that's a half inch to about an inch to an inch and a half in 3 hours. And some of you are going to be raining for more than 3 hours. So we can look at the 6-hour flash flood guidance and look at this. There is a pocket here that just cannot handle any rain, is really what it comes down to. The grounds are saturated. There's impervious surfaces. The flooding is ongoing from earlier. This could spell a real big travel trouble spot late overnight to tomorrow morning.
We have to be able to repair the enamel on a daily basis. With Pro Enamel Repair Toothpaste, we can help actively repair enamel in its weakened state. It's innovative. My go-to toothpaste is going to be Pro Enamel Repair.
When you order carry-out, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Put Domino's new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
Life's kind of unpredictable. Like when your groceries arrive the moment you remember everything you forgot. Or when your kid says, "There's a bake sale at school tomorrow." Tomorrow? Or when you discover art couture is a thing you have to try, like now. Or when you could go to the store, but you also need to walk the dog, pack the lunches, and, oh yeah, take the kids to school. You have children! For anything today brings, fresh groceries and more, free same-day delivery. Walmart Plus.
There's an America we build and one we discover. One that's been tamed and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea,
Pepto-Bismol coats your stomach with fast and soothing relief. And try new drug-free Pepto Herbal Blends, made from 100% natural ginger and peppermint.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower is a part of the world's largest battery system and cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. The self-propelled model makes mowing effortless. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Reach speeds of up to 116 miles per hour with the single battery blower. One system, endless possibilities. Now get 2 extra free batteries.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving with sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
Tropical storm Elsa certainly packed quite a punch here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm Justin Michaels with the latest from here.
And we know that Elsa is not done yet. Started the other day with landfall in Florida, but all the way through the mid-Atlantic, now coming into the northeast corridor as well. We've got heavy rain, we've got a tornado threat, power outages increasing, winds that could still be over 50 miles per hour, and a flood threat that continues to develop. There is a lot to follow for you tonight. A long and stormy night ongoing for the eastern seaboard. Tree damage looking more and more likely. And again, tornado warnings along with flash flood warnings right now. So thanks for sticking with us here on the Weather Channel. We're going to bring you everything you need to know for tonight, as well as what you may be waking up to for tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott, joined by storm specialist Carl Parker. Carl, a couple of different tornado warnings. In fact, a new one just being issued right now following a storm on that kind of rotating track. I think the combination of slight rotation in these storms and crazy heavy rain is going to be the big story from here on out.
It's amazing how much of a punch that these storms can still pack even days after they make landfall. I mean, this thing is still going strong. It is now a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. It is actually stronger than it was at this time yesterday, picking up some additional energy from the contrast between the drier continental air and the warm ocean air. And it's now moving very quickly as well, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour, and we expect that it's going to race across the Delmarva, New Jersey, through the overnight into Long Island and into southern New England tomorrow morning, and then we'll continue to move out in the Canadian Maritimes. We have been looking at an ongoing flash flood threat, an ongoing tornado threat. Let's take a look at the tornado warnings. I'm going to jump up first of all to this latest tornado warning that's a reissue here for Sussex County. That's in Delaware, west of Lewis, and along the Route 9 corridor there. And so you see that little bit of a sort of a shear line there, and it looks like we could be looking at some rotation within that. And so just tracking that forward, that coming into Benham, and then moving towards Cave Colony and Milton and Ellendale as well. Then to the south of that, another tornado warning in effect, and that's for Wicomico County in Maryland. And so, you know, this area of rotation here has been moving, I think, more north-northwest. That appears to be the vector. So tracking that forward, that's coming up into Truett right now, and then towards Pittsville as well, and then into Gumboro. So again, that is a tornado warning that is in effect right now for Wicomico and Worcester counties until 12:15. And then when you look at the velocity data, and they've just changed the mode here, so I'm going to step back one frame so you can see it a little bit better. When you look at this, you can see there's some rotation in here, there's some rotation in here, and these cells are coming towards Ocean City right now. So, you know, just letting you know, there's no tornado warning right now for Ocean City, but there are cells that are showing some rotation that are moving towards Ocean City. City right now. So just heads up on that if you are at the beach right now. Then to the north, look at that. Pretty strong area of rotation now just northeast of Ocean View. And that's going to be coming up towards Lewis eventually as well. So maybe yet another tornado warning along with that. Not a big surprise that we've got all these rotating storms. There is a tornado watch in effect right now, and there's a lot of shear in the atmosphere, which is to say that winds are coming out of different directions at the surface and 5,000 feet. That turning of the winds is what is a big part of what drives that tornado threat. And then there's a lot of wind in general. Outside of the tornado threat, you've got just winds of 40 miles per hour now in Ocean City. They may gust over 50 miles per hour for a lot of the night tonight. 37 to Patuxent River Naval Air Station, and to the south, even on the back side of the storm, still very gusty. Norfolk now gusting to nearly 40 miles per hour. Now, one big thing that we're concerned about through tonight and tomorrow is this heavy rain threat. That is going to come up and across New Jersey, and it's going to make its way into New York. And New York got walloped earlier today. There were dozens of high water rescues in New York City, and from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe even into 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to get dumped on by more heavy rain, and there could very well be more flash flooding tomorrow morning. And Mark's going to talk more about that for us right now.
Yeah, Carl, we continue to watch for a lot more rain and flooding working its way into the Northeast corridor. We can kind of break down here city by city going through the coast. This is what's happening right now. Carl was just showing us these tornado warnings, bands of heavy rain. Well, the modeling is doing a good job at picking up on those models, although I think we just crossed over the midnight time frame, and so all of these need to be reset, and I won't be able to show you those future radars. So again, we'll just kind of step this forward. Atlantic City is raining right now. We've got some steady rains here around the Atlantic City area, and that is now, finally, you can say, the rain from Elsa approaching from the south. It's been a long time coming, and we can also look at the New York City area. New York had all that rain and flooding earlier today, okay? It is now officially the rain starting to enter the picture from Elsa. The flooding rains from earlier today were not from Elsa. They were from generic thunderstorms that formed because of an old frontal boundary across the region. Now we are seeing some lighter rain showers moving in from the south. This is the beginning of Elsa's rains. And why is this such a big problem? Well, the flash flood guidance, the amount of rain that would cause more flooding in this area, is very, very low. First, you can look at what could happen in just 1 hour. In 1 hour, anywhere here in yellow is 1 inch to 2 inches of rain would start more flash flooding. That is almost all of North Jersey. But there's a little pocket in here near New York City up through, say, Yonkers, where you'd need 1/2 inch or less in an hour to cause flooding. You get that in almost every storm. Not just every tropical storm, I mean every time it rains, you can get those kinds of rainfall rates. Then you can look ahead to the 3-hour guidance, and we'll zoom in here on New York City. What you lose here is some of the risk across the North Jersey area, but that bullseye of red continues. New York up through, say, Yonkers, maybe up towards White Plains or so. In 3 hours, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain, maybe even a little bit less than 1/2 inch, would cause more flooding. And there's also a product that looks at the 6-hour guidance, and that's not much different. We're going to have heavy rain in the New York City area, light rain now, but picking up in intensity through the night and getting into, say, 5 a.m., it starts really picking up. So 5 to 8 a.m. or maybe 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., that kind of window around the New York City metro area, it will be pouring. We could easily exceed a lot of this guidance and go right back into some of the scenes from earlier. This was earlier today in the Yonkers area. Remember, these were slow-moving thunderstorms associated with a front. Those were first responders carrying people out of the high water, potentially from some of these cars. Look at that. The Bronx River Expressway, that border between Bronxville and Yonkers, was absolutely underwater. There was a low point under a bridge, an underpass, and it was filled. I mean, there were cars that were underwater and all you could see was the roof, Carl. A very dangerous setup here, working through the next, say, 12 hours or so. Do not just say that tomorrow is just another rainy day and I've driven in rain before and I'll be able to get to work or school or camp just fine. That is not that type of setup. There could be closed roads, and you don't want to drive your way into flooded roads, especially before sunup. Carl, not only a flood risk tonight, but also a tornado risk that continues.
Yeah, Mark, just moments ago we were talking about some areas of rotation that were being seen on the radar offshore, and sure enough, we've got now some tornado warnings to tell you about, including Ocean City, Maryland. If you are staying at the beach in Ocean City, there is now a tornado warning for your area, and that's Worcester County under warning right now, including Ocean City, Ocean Pines, and West Ocean City. So we are watching this area right there, that area of spin, which is now moving to the north-northwest very rapidly. Motion is north at 45 miles per hour. So let's take that forward and see where that's going to be headed. That coming towards West Ocean City in just a few minutes, about 5 minutes or so, coming towards Ocean City in about 7 minutes. Again, this is moving very rapidly, moving towards Edgewater Acres at 12:22, and then coming into Bunting at 12:24. So again, we're seeing some pretty strong rotation in a cell that is now just south of Ocean City. It is rapidly moving in at 45 miles per hour, nearly at highway speeds, and it's going to be on you like that. So please get to your safe place right now. Get to the lowest, most interior room that you possibly can, as you've got a possible tornado coming your way, and that is moving in very, very rapidly. Again, that's a tornado warning for Ocean City, Maryland, and that cell is now just off to the south, coming into Ocean City at 12:15. It's now 12:09. So coming into Ocean City in 6 minutes. You've got 6 minutes to get away from the windows. You want to get to an interior room. If you're in a condo, you want to try to get to an interior room and just do your best to get away from the outside and get away from the windows as this moves in. And again, it's coming in very, very rapidly. We'll come back to that in a moment. Hopefully we'll have a new scan in just a moment. Got a downstream tornado warning for Wacomico County here, and that includes the Willards area. So there's the rotation right there. There's the new scan right there. And that is not quite as pronounced as it was moments ago, but we'll still track that forward. And that coming towards Pittsville, coming towards Whitesville, and Pepperbox as well. Then to the north of that, here's another one that we were watching just offshore a moment ago. Sussex County under warning until 12:30. Pretty strong rotation now over Dewey Beach as we speak, and that's going to be coming towards Lewis here in the next few minutes. Again, these are all moving very rapidly towards the northwest, so moving towards Midway in about 2 minutes, coming into Lewis in about 5 minutes, into Green Hill at about 12:17, and Oyster Rocks at 12:19. And then another tornado warning, another downstream warning here for Sussex County, and that is going until 12:30. Sorry, I'm going to jump back and we'll go back to that and get a look at the velocity data here. Seeing kind of a shear line here. It's not as pronounced as it once was, but let's just go ahead and track it to be on the safe side. And that moving towards the north-northwest, coming towards Milton and also towards Newmarket. But I want to jump back down to Ocean City, Maryland. Again, there is now a tornado warning for Ocean City, Maryland until 12:30. And we'll get another look at this. And you've got a circulation right here. There's actually another circulation that's not being warned on that is now just to the east of Berlin. So these things are very transient in nature. They can pop up very quickly and they can weaken very quickly. But that circulation is coming right towards Ocean City, moving very rapidly north now. And that's going to be into Ocean City in 4 minutes. So you've got 4 minutes to get to the most interior room. You want to get away from the windows, and you want to certainly put as many walls between you and the outside as is possible if, in fact, there is a tornado coming in. Now, I will tell you that is not the most profound area of rotation that I've ever seen. There's definitely rotation there. It's just not incredibly tight and incredibly strong. So we can hope that the storm is not producing a tornado, but we certainly can't count on it. It would be a waterspout right now if that's happening. So this would be a waterspout moving onshore, and just be aware of the fact that there may be one coming in. Now we've got a new scan here, and actually, looks pretty robust here. And again, there's also one that is west of Ocean City. So right there, that is the circulation, and it's now just about on top of Ocean City and may have actually strengthened a little bit since the last scan. So there could very well be a waterspout that is coming onshore, and that is going to be again into Ocean City in just a few minutes, coming in at 12:15. So heads up, possible tornado now coming your way. And again, there's also another area of rotation not being warned on right now that is just outside of Berlin, and that is moving off to the north. Now let's jump back up to the storm that is up into Lewis, and that's Sussex County under warning. So looking at the velocity data right here, that is now coming towards Rehoboth Beach. This one's a little more stretched out. It's not quite as tight, but certainly it is possible that there's a tornado there, and that's coming into Midway and coming into Lewis. And then I believe I just saw another new tornado warning to the southwest of that, and yes, that's true. That is a tornado warning for Sussex County. This is now into Delaware, and we'll take a look at the velocity data once again. So you've got sort of a larger, very broad rotation with that, and possible tornado along with that, and that coming towards the northwest, moving towards Whitesville, moving towards Lowe's Crossroads, Hardscrabble, and Gum Crossroads as well. But again, our most pressing warning right now is the one that is coming into Ocean City. And my goodness, there's another one actually to the south of that for Wicomico and Worcester counties. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. I'm not seeing anything that really jumps out. But Ocean City, Maryland, this is just about on top of you right now. It's a broad area of rotation, but it is now moving in. And so a possible tornado now coming into Ocean City. Please take cover right now. Could be some very strong wind moving into Ocean City. We'll have more on this in just a few minutes.
Okay, at AT&T, everyone gets our best deals on all smartphones.
Let me break it down. You got your new customers.
They get our best deals. You got your existing customers. They also get our best deals. Everyone gets the deals.
Questions?
Got it. But why did you use a permanent marker?
Because I want to make sure you remember.
I'm gonna get a new whiteboard.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on every smartphone, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free.
When you order carryout, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Put Domino's new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
I'm Morgan, and there's more to me than HIV. More love, more adventure, more community. But with my HIV treatment, there's not more medicines in my pill. I talked to my doctor and switched to fewer medicines with Dovato.
Dovato is for some adults who are starting HIV-1 treatment or replacing their current HIV-1 regimen. With just 2 medicines in 1 pill, Dovato is as effective as a 3-drug regimen to help you reach and stay undetectable. Research shows people who take HIV treatment as prescribed and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex. Don't take Dovato if you're allergic to its ingredients or if you take Dofetilide. Taking Dovato with Dofetilide can cause serious or life-threatening side effects. Hepatitis B can become harder to treat while on Dovato. Don't stop Dovato without talking to your doctor, as your hepatitis B may worsen or become life-threatening. Serious or life-threatening side effects can occur, including allergic reactions, lactic acid buildup, and liver problems. If you have a rash and other symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop Dovato and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems, or if you are, may be, or plan to be pregnant. Dovato may harm your unborn baby. Use effective birth control while on Dovato. Do not breastfeed while taking Dovato. Most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, trouble sleeping, tiredness, and anxiety.
So much goes into who I am. HIV medicine is one part of it. Ask your doctor about Dovato. I did.
Can I play?
You're an awesome sis. XOXO Mom.
I am an awesome big sis.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV, which means no more pausing your show for some lame delivery that's like not even for you. Or Mike Gardner here for your first date.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do? Mom!
Always know who's at your door right from your TV.
I'm in, but stall.
View your Google Nest Hello doorbell on your TV with Dish. Tuned in to you.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
93 warmer days, promising new adventure and views that never get old. Your favorite season starts now. Summer on. Receive a credit of up to $3,500 through August 2nd. Summer can't be contained to just one moment. It can be exhilarating, breathtaking, refreshing, and so much more. So never settle for just any summer. Make yours ultimate. Receive a credit of up to $3,500 through August 2nd.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 72 degrees with showers. Tonight, rain likely, low 71. Rainfall near 1/4 inch. Friday, rain and thunder, high 88. Higher wind gusts possible. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Evacuate immediately.
Spinning storms making their way through coastal Maryland into Delaware. Right now you're looking at Ocean City, Maryland on the city side, right? Not on the boardwalk, but on the cityscape. You've got lots of rain coming through. If you look at the left side of your picture, you can see those sheets of rain in the headlights, occasionally on the street lamps, I should say, occasionally blowing sideways, really taking down the visibility. Not that it's great here, right? It's nighttime, it's raining hard. You've got all the glare on the streets because of the water and because of the camera's vantage point here. Some ponding on the roadways already because of that heavy rain. But yes, rotating storms, tornado warnings in play here in the Ocean City area. And look, the wind shifted just a little bit. Now all the water's coming right at the camera once again. So spinning storms, spinning winds, certainly possible. I think I just saw some lights flashing off in the distance. Can't tell if that was power going on and off or if maybe that was just being blocked by something, like some of the lights were just blocked by that seagull just came flying at us. The boardwalk looks a little bit more manageable. So that's right along the coast. It's actually easing up. The storm is racing inland, moving between 50 and 60 miles per hour. So let's get an update on the radar and look at that spin as seen by the technology. Carl Parker here with me tonight. And Carl, my goodness, fast motion on these storms.
Yeah, they're moving northwest now at 60 miles per hour in some cases. A whole slew of tornado warnings out ahead of our tropical storm. So let's talk about the first one in Ocean City, Maryland, Worcester County under warning right now. That is radar indicated, and there is the rotation right in there. So it is now past Ocean City and rapidly moving off to the northwest. They're running a different mode on the radar at the Weather Service, so it's a little more difficult to see if you're used to seeing our other velocity color table there. But That's basically where it's headed, towards Little Georgetown and Bayard as well. But there is another area of rotation that is just offshore, so we'll see. There might be another tornado warning issued with that. Then off to the northwest, got another rotating storm. You can actually see a little swirl in that storm right there in the regular reflectivity. So it's got a broad but strong area of rotation, and that is now moving towards the northwest and up towards Seaford and Laurel. So that's going to be coming into Pepper more immediately, then into Hitchens Crossroads, Midnight Thicket beyond that, and then Waterview Acres at 12:32. And then another tornado warning here. It's just been updated, Sussex County, and that is near Lewis. Now that area of rotation has really become elongated, and when that happens, you say there's a little less of a tornado threat. There's still rotation there, but it's definitely more stretched out. But we'll track it nonetheless. That coming towards Oyster Rocks, towards Broadkill Beach, and towards Prime Hook Beach as well. So you've got a whole series of rotating storms here. Not surprising, because there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. And so, when we look at this velocity data, and again, it's in that sort of different mode right now, we're seeing a lot of little areas of rotation right now, Mark. But there is a tornado watch that's ongoing until 2 o'clock in the morning. They have not issued one farther upstream into Delaware, but we'll see about that. Looks like it's been, it's pretty active here over the last hour or so. So, maybe there is some cause for extending that watch.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that we're not seeing an extension to Delaware or even coastal Jersey, because I think that favorable spin in the environment will still be there. Again, checking in on the the Ocean City, Maryland city camera here. Watch the lights off in the distance, right? Just underneath the temperature of 74. They keep on disappearing and flickering. Part of that, I think, is because raindrops were just totally slamming this camera when we were looking at it just a second ago. But it was also, I was for a while wondering if some of the lights off in the distance were actually flickering and going off from power outages as the lights were coming, as the rain was coming in and the wind was really cranking. Now we're right along the beach here in Ocean City. You can see the flags absolutely whipping. So here, still an onshore flow. We're still looking at the winds coming in from the coast and moving inland at the surface with a slightly different wind direction aloft, Carl. And it is that, lowest level of the environment, that lowest mile or so, that these storms are tapping into and allowing for some of that rotation tonight.
Yeah, and so many of these storms are now rotating. We're watching the one that just passed Ocean City. And so, again, I know it's kind of difficult to see what you're looking at here, but there's an area of rotation right there. And that is now just west of Fenwick Island. We'll see if they issue a downstream warning for that. But if they do, that'll be coming towards Little Georgetown rather, and then Bunting. Then there's another area of rotation that is just east of Ocean City right there. And that looks like it's going to be coming towards Fenwick Island and maybe just north of Ocean City. There's not a warning on that yet, but I would not be at all surprised if we see one, if it continues to look that tight. It does look pretty tight, and we'll see if a warning is issued for that. That is now just moments away from Fenwick Island, so we'll keep our eyes on that for you. Watching again a very broad area of rotation showing up in Sussex County and southern parts of Delaware. It's broad, but it's fairly strong, fairly robust. And that now is coming up towards Hitchens Crossroads, Hardscrabble, Beaver Dam Heights, and Collins Pond Acres. We'll have much more on this coming up in a few minutes.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms, every customer. New 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Kleenex Ultra Soft Tissues. 3 layers strong for sneezes, smudges, and everything in between. Kleenex, for all the moments. A portion of every purchase is donated to students in need.
With Voltaren Arthritis Pain Gel, my husband's got his moves back.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is the first full prescription strength gel for powerful arthritis pain relief. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
The Edge from Pizza Hut. It comes loaded with toppings all the way to the edge. For the crust, let's keep it real, thin, and crispy. Every bite is a masterpiece.
I really gotta get going, man.
The Edge is back. Get it before it's gone. No one outbeats the Hut.
Riders, the lone wolves of the Great Highway. All they need is a bike and a full tank of gas. Their only friend, the open road.
I have friends.
Well, he may have friends, but he rides alone.
That's Jeremy right there. We're literally riding together.
He gets touchy when you talk about his lack of friends.
Can you help me out here?
No matter why you ride, Progressive has you covered with protection starting at $79 a year.
Well, we need friends, to be fair. And still.
Life's kind of unpredictable. Like when your groceries arrive, the moment you remember everything you forgot. Or when your kid says, "Is the big swat school tomorrow?"
Tomorrow?
Or when you discover art couture is a thing you have to try, like now. Or when you could go to the store, but you also need to walk the dog, pack the lunches, and, oh yeah, take the kids to school. You have children! For anything today brings, fresh groceries and more, free same-day delivery. Walmart Plus.
What happens when you make power your thing above everything? You decide fast is never fast enough. You put muscle over matter, and you make horsepower a superpower. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Muscle.
Smile.
Even as the world opens back up, some social distancing is still highly recommended. Get into the out there, the Weather Channel.
An active evening of weather as we are tracking Tropical Storm Elsa moving into the Northeast Corridor. Tropical storm warnings are still in play right now, specifically a danger from, say, Ocean City, Maryland, up through the Boston area and the Cape. Now, that part of the story is much later for your Friday, but right now we're watching places like Atlantic City and like Ocean City and like Rehoboth Beach because the rain and the wind are entering the picture along with rotating storms and tornado warnings. And so not only are we looking at the winds from our tropical system, but we're also looking at strong storms embedded within it that are rotating. One of those just came through the Ocean City, Maryland area. The water has piled up a little bit here on the boardwalk, but things are getting better. If you're in Ocean City, the views of the downtown or the streetscape, if you will, just outside of the beach, so much better than they were. But north of Ocean City, you go north and you're into Delaware, and Rehoboth Beach, Delaware is getting absolutely slammed right now. Very heavy rains. You can barely pick out the boardwalk here. Raindrops on the lens, and more is on the way. Kind of in between Ocean City and Rehoboth Beach is one of those rotating storms with tornado warnings, several tornado warnings right now that we want to update you on as the rain continues to come on down. A flood risk and a tornado risk tonight, Carl, as we monitor these storms, all associated with the big circulation from Elsa.
Yeah, a lot of rotation showing up now out ahead of this tropical storm. In fact, when you look at the broader picture here, you see the center of the circulation actually a little ahead of where we've got it right in there. That was as of the 11 p.m. advisory, and it's moving very quickly. But all of these storms are showing some level of rotation as they pivot into Delaware and into Maryland. So the latest warnings for you now: southeastern Delaware, Sussex County under warning, and the cell is just northeast of Selbyville, actually east of Selbyville and northwest of Ocean City. And they're moving very, very rapidly, about 60 miles per hour off to the northwest. So that's coming towards Bayard and Blackwater, also towards Bullseye and Gola by the Bay. Actually, motion on this cell is a little bit slower, so I'm going to redraw that. We'll get another look at that and change the speed on this, because that has slowed a good bit. We had one that was coming in at 60 miles per hour. Actually, this cell was coming in at 60 miles per hour, but now they've changed that to 45. So coming into Blackwater at about 12:35, and then Bullseye at around 12:41. Then to the west of that, another tornado warning here. This is pretty amazing. If you look at the reflectivity, you can actually make out a little bit of a spin in the regular radar returns there. And so there's a broadly rotating area right in there, kind of a large but definitely vigorous area of rotation showing up there. And so that could tighten up at any time, and that is going to be coming towards Beaver Dam Heights, Hitchens Crossroads more immediately, Hardscrabble, and Concord, a possible tornado coming your way. Then to the north of that, there was a warning for the Lewis area, and that has been allowed to expire. That area is really kind of sheared out. But, as I mentioned here, all these cells are showing some level of rotation. So we may continue to see warnings. It's a lot of low-level wind shear, winds coming out of different directions in the lowest 5,000 feet of the atmosphere. And that's why you've got this tornado potential and a tornado watch now for southern Maryland going until 2 o'clock in the morning. Mark?
So we continue to follow the heavy rain threat, the tornado threat. You can see that tornado watch until 2 a.m. A little bit surprising, Carl, that we don't have an extension of a watch through Delaware into southern Jersey at all, because, gosh, those rotating storms are headed in that direction. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I am surprised too. I'm not sure why, because we've had a flurry of tornado warnings. So, certainly it would seem that it is justified to do that. Also want to mention, we've got a new flash flood warning here, and that is associated with the center of this tropical storm. And that is for Dorchester County. And Mark, you were noticing just a little while ago that, when we track that center forward, looks like it's going to be coming right up and across the very areas that were flooded out yesterday.
Yeah, in fact, let's take a look at my max here, because we can not only look at the modeling forecast, but look at this. This is the flash flood warnings issued from where that center went. There's our newest warning, right? If we kind of connect those, that's pointed right towards New York City. If you track the center of the storm coming just off the coast, these might actually be bent a little bit off, more like this and like this. So hugging the coastline, that would bring the core of the worst of the rain right over New York. And we know that the flash flood guidance there suggests that a ½ inch of rain, even in a few hours, would cause more flooding. Update on that coming up.
You're strong. You power through chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Most patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox. So text to see how you can save. Botox has been preventing headaches and migraines before they even start for 10 years. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
With Voltaren Arthritis Pain Gel, my husband's got his moves back.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is the first full prescription strength gel for powerful arthritis pain relief. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Kids can change minds. They can even change the world around us. Packed with protein plus 21 vitamins and minerals, we nourish them with Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Because today could change everything.
Nothing rhymes with Liberty Mutual.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving with sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
Big summer savings are happening this month at Napa. Get 20% off 3 or more items with a $2.99 Napa bucket. Or get $20 back on any Napa automotive battery. When it comes to finding you great deals, our motor never quits.
Mr. Clark, your daughter is a very good kisser.
When you crave the uncomfortable, try Spicy Pringles Scorchin'.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
New video coming in to us tonight. This is from Petersburg, Virginia, south of Richmond. There are still flood warnings in that area, and you can see why. Water all the way up to the windshields on a couple of cars, and people were actually trapped inside there. Fire and rescue had to get out there and get them out. Scary stuff, right? That's why they tell you if you do wind up in this situation, you want to roll down your windows so you have a way out, because the pressure of the water is often so high and so strong that you can't push open your door. And if you wait too long, then the electric system might not let you roll down the windows later. But when you're surrounded by water, opening up the windows is not something that you really want to do. So I can understand how people just kind of freeze and not know what they should do when they're in a situation like this. 70% of the roads in this area were closed because of flooding. What a mess. Because of heavy rain, this was all associated with Elsa. There is more heavy rain moving north through Maryland, through Delaware, and into Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where it is crazy right now. We got a band that's approaching from the south with embedded circulations. Can't rule out tornadoes coming towards Rehoboth Beach over the next few moments to hour, I would say. Even without that, very heavy rain, gusty winds. It is a loud evening here, Carl. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. It is howling out there.
You know, and I don't know if we can go back to that flooding video. You were talking about the idea about your window freezing up if the electronics fail.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a little device, and I don't have one of these, but there's a little
punch
metal thing, that you can use to, because if you didn't have that and you couldn't get your window down and your car was sinking, you might not be able to get the window open.
The only thing you can do then, if you can't break through the window and you can't roll it down,
is try to open the door.
Right, but you'd never be able to.
You can't do it.
Until, and this is even scarier, until the water on the inside is full, then the pressures equalize.
Right.
You have to be underwater and then hope that your door opens.
Yeah.
No thanks, right? So, I mean, I don't have one of those in my car either. The seatbelt cutter / window breaker combo.
Yeah.
It might be worth just keeping that in the little center console so you know that you have one, so that it's like an insurance policy, because if you have it, you'll never need it.
Right.
But, what a scary scene. The water really came up fast and people got in trouble today.
And the thing that we've said, ad nauseum, for however long, don't drive through water when it covers the road. I mean, people always do it. They always do it.
It's so easy to say. I've never been in this situation where the water's really rising that fast around me when you're already on the road. I think we have to add to that discussion, right? It has to be, know your forecast, know what you might be getting into, don't be driving if there's even the chance, and even that is from a place of, I don't know if privilege is the right word for it, but sometimes you have to be on the road. Not everyone can just not go anywhere.
Well, that's true.
Day.
You're right about that. That's absolutely true. But, you can choose to not drive through, high water.
Yeah, so after it started, just don't put your car. But what happens like if it was like in New York today where you're on a highway, there's no exits, there's a wall next to you that's keeping the water in, you're already on the road and the water's rising, you're stuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's really tough. I mean, that's, you know, we sort of take, you know, you and I think, you know, we take for granted that we're kind of situationally aware because we're into weather and we're looking at the radar all the time. So we know if there's something really big coming. And, you know, I guess that's, you know, what we would like for people to do is just, you know, pay a little more attention, perhaps, than they've been used to doing in the past because we're getting heavier rain.
Yeah,
now.
I hope, yeah, absolutely. The rainfall rates are higher. I hope they're paying attention tonight. Tropical Storm Elsa continues as of the 11 o'clock advisory. Still 50-mile-per-hour winds. But, Carl, rotating around this are some significant bands with embedded rotation and several tornado warnings still tonight.
Yes, we've had a number of tornado warnings tonight and a very scary night in southeastern Maryland and also in Delaware. A couple of ongoing tornado warnings to tell you about. Sussex County under warning right now that is radar indicated. Not seeing as much evidence of rotation here. It looks like it's stretching out a little bit. You go back right in there. I mean, there was clearly, you know, something that was a lot more robust, and it's really kind of thinning out now. But let's just go ahead and track it out just to be on the safe side as that moves off to the northwest. That coming into Hollyville and then towards Springfield Crossroads as well. And then farther to the west, another tornado warning for Sussex County in Delaware. And, you know, this is a really, really broad area of rotation right now. Here, too, I don't think the threat is quite as great as it was. I mean, it's definitely spinning, but it's very, very broad. And, you know, what you're looking for is a tighter area spin. But that coming towards Concord and also Park. But, you know, as we've pointed out many times, there is a terrific amount of turning of the winds. And so in that environment, storms are going to rotate pretty easily. And so that's going to be an ongoing concern tonight in Delaware and eventually coming up into New Jersey. Also, a flash flood warning in Dorchester County in Maryland. And, you know, that's a really big worry. A lot of wind developing here, too. Winds now gusting to 36 in Ocean City. We may see gusts over 50 tonight in Ocean City. And then we're going to watch the core of the storm come up into New York City. And Mark, this is the very area that got absolutely walloped by heavy rain earlier today. And so we're looking at the potential for flash flooding tomorrow morning. We want people to really check the weather before they leave the house tomorrow.
Yeah, and the model trends are not our friend here. The rain has arrived in places like Atlantic City earlier than forecast. The light rain is already back into New York City, as you can see. That's earlier than forecast. And so the potential for more flooding, unfortunately, especially around New York City, is very high. We'll talk more about this, but this is your 1 hour flash flood guidance. Many areas here, an inch or less will cause more flooding.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower is a part of the world's largest battery system and cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. The self-propelled model makes mowing effortless. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Reach speeds of up to 116 miles per hour with the single battery blower. One system, endless possibilities. Now, get 2 extra free batteries.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals. Now introducing Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Well, Geico's 85 years isn't just about time, you know. It means experience. I mean, put it this way. If I told you I'd been jarring raspberry preserves for 85 years, what would you think? Well, at first, you'd be like, that has got to be some scrumptious jam. And then you'd think, he looks fantastic. I must know his skincare routine.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
Beg your pardon.
Curiosity pushes you forward. It's what inspired Mayomi to create an unrivaled wine using the best from California to push flavor in new directions for a taste like no other. Mayomi, flavor forward.
We've never been so ready to get back out there. And with Copper Tone Sport, we can reclaim the boulders, the backwoods, and the breakers. Copper Tone Sport. Find your sun.
When you order carry-out, choose Domino's Carside Delivery.
Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Put Domino's new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
Look! Hey, kiddo. Hey. This is Sketchy Kyle from across the street. How are you? And these other two were just sitting outside and they figured I'd let them in. Well, what is the code here, sir? Oh, you'll figure that one out.
Any wireless stuff upstairs,
I mean, Wi-Fi everywhere.
What's the name of your first pet?
You got a really nice house.
At Spectrum, we think if they shouldn't be in your house, they shouldn't be on your Wi-Fi.
This is fun.
What?
So Spectrum Advanced In-Home Wi-Fi lets you decide who connects and who doesn't, so your network's always secure.
More protection, more sun, more joy. Neutrogena Beach Defense. The sun care brand used most by dermatologists and their families. Neutrogena, for people with skin.
Are your sneezes putting your friends in awkward positions? Stick with Zyrtec. Zyrtec starts working hard at hour 1 and works twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Zyrtec, muddle no more.
They say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
I love to watch the waves after a storm. The storm can be long gone, but the waves just keep going.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
A flash flood watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 72 degrees with showers. Tonight, rain likely, low 71. Rainfall near 1/4 inch. Friday, rain and thunder, high 88. Higher wind gusts possible. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. This thing is still packing a punch. We've had a whole flurry of tornado warnings in Delaware and Maryland. We've had some very serious flooding tonight. The winds are howling, and there is going to be a flood threat coming up into New York City overnight and early tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that in a moment. The position of the storm now is actually probably just across the bay into southern Maryland. And for the first time in a while now, we actually do not have a tornado warning, but I can show you in the velocity data, we had one brief scan right in there. You see that little pinpoint right there? That was probably a tornado right along Route 9, and it lasted for just a few minutes and then quickly just went away, and that tornado warning has now been canceled. But to the west of that, a flash flood warning in effect now in Dorchester County. This is near the center of the tropical storm, and that is what is coming up into New York City. And again, there's been a fair amount of gusty wind as well, now gusting to 36 in Ocean City and gusting to 30 miles per hour in Wallops Island. That's going to come right up along the Jersey Shore into Long Island and into southeastern parts of New England as well. Here's the model forecast, and we're going to expect to see that rain coming into the tri-state area, into Long Island tomorrow morning, and then moving up into New England. Serious flood threat in New England along with that. From the middle of the day, or really from the middle of the morning through the middle of the day and into the afternoon. And I want to show you a closer look at New York here because we had terrible flooding today in New York. Mark's going to talk more about this in a second. And we've got so much more rain on the way. It's not going to take much to cause big problems. And you see when this is coming in 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, even lingering into 8 o'clock in the morning. And so you should absolutely turn the TV on and take stock of the situation before you come in, because we could be looking at a repeat of what we saw earlier today. Mark?
What we saw earlier today was no fun. I mean, it was crazy in the New York City metro area, Yonkers to Bronxville in particular. Check out this video. You're up aloft here looking above from a bridge, or maybe from a building, actually, looking down. look at the roadway here. People getting carried out. All of these cars are stalled out, just left behind in the drink. It's such a scary scenario when water rises that fast and you're in the wrong place and you're in it. And so we've been talking about that chance for more rain across this area. Now we're going to take a look here at more of this very heavy rain working its way into the Northeast corridor. Now we're looking at the Hackensack area. This is New Jersey. Look at the water here. The entire town is surrounded. Water's going the wrong way out of that manhole cover, bubbling back up because the pressures got all wonky because of this much flooding this quickly. And so basically the stormwater runoff and sewer lines were going backwards, and the emergency valve then is the street. And so that's how you wind up with this much water this quickly. We can also show you what was going on around this highway here in New York. This may be the Bronx River Expressway. Hard to tell. But that's an expensive car that we just drove past, totally flooded out and you know, not drivable anymore. Real bad scene here. But that's just it. Look, there's a wall on one side. There's not a clear exit. You're stuck, right? You're in the river at that point. Not a good scene. You got to know what what you're driving into. Let's talk about what could be coming for the morning in the New York City area. And we'll start with this look at the radar. Here's our area of low pressure now from Elsa. This is the banding feature that's had some tornado warnings. But what I really want to point out is that this feature is arriving a little bit earlier and a little bit farther west than some of the models were even suggesting. Remember where this is right now, right? It's about to get towards Atlantic City. Let me jump to the Atlantic City area, because this suggests that it would take until 1 a.m. for some of the heaviest rain to be in Atlantic City. It's there already. Okay, so it's a little bit late, and it's a little bit cut off to the west. We've had heavy rain farther west than the model has showed us. Why is that important? Well, New York City, same model, saying, okay, it's dry at 1 a.m. There's nothing on this. That's not the case. Look at the radar again for New York. It's already right up here, Long Branch, the Raritan Bay, up through New York City. Light rain has already arrived. So that's adding to the risk zone. And the risk is high because of how much rain we had earlier today. Check out the flash flood guidance here. And I advanced that a little bit too fast. Give it a sec for the data to come back in. In 1 hour here in Northeast Jersey, anywhere in yellow, that's about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain. You'd see some flooding. But look at this, that bullseye where we had all that rain earlier today. We could see flooding in a ½ inch to an inch of rain across that area in just 1 hour. Now, that's okay. That's a pretty hefty rainfall. I think we'll get there. But what if we don't? Well, how about in 3 hours? In 3 hours, we're absolutely going to be able to get to a ½ inch of rain. That forecast, even with our model that suggests it won't be raining until, say, 4 or 5 a.m., we still have plenty of time in that corridor, 5, 6, 7, to get to a ½ inch of rain. I think we're going to get there. Unfortunately, that means there will be flooding in the morning somewhere around the New York City metro area. Please be careful. Do not just go driving in the morning suggesting it's any regular day.
If there was a world championship for this, I'd be a sports legend. I'd be a household name. But there isn't. And I wouldn't do anything different if there was. Neutro. Feed clean.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do I do?
Always know who's at your door right from your TV. Dish. Tuned in to you.
Thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer are living in the moment and taking Ibrance. Ibrance with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ibrance plus letrozole significantly delayed disease progression versus letrozole. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening chest pain, cough, or trouble breathing. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. For more information about side effects, talk to your doctor. Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance.
Here you go. Let me help you.
Hi, Mr. Charles. We made you dinner.
Oh, thank you. Ready to eat?
Yes, I am.
That's a joke.
Do not repeat that to anyone, right?
You're gonna fight.
Do not repeat that to anyone.
The video calling device designed to bring people closer. Share something real. Portal from Facebook.
Oh, this is a mouth-watering Marco's pizza. And this is a new build-your-own-pizza bowl with no crust and up to 4 toppings for $7.99. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower is a part of the world's largest battery system and cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. The self-propelled model makes mowing effortless. Get unstoppable power without the hassles of gas. Reach speeds of up to 116 miles per hour with the single battery blower. One system, endless possibilities. Now, get 2 extra free batteries.
I'm Carl Parker. We are still watching Tropical Storm Elsa. It is amazing how much of a punch this thing has been packing. Still now a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm, which is actually stronger than it was yesterday at this time, picking up a little bit of intensity from the contrast in temperature from the northeast out to the open water of the Atlantic. And it's moving very quickly right now and bringing with it a lot of different hazards, strong winds, very heavy rain, a flash flood threat, and then also a tornado threat. And we had a flurry of tornado warnings tonight in Maryland and Delaware, and then many earlier in Virginia and North Carolina. There you see the forecast track taking the storm out to New England. There is the current radar picture. We do not have any tornado warnings right now. If we do have additional tornado warnings tonight, we will break into programming as necessary to let you know about that. There you see the ongoing flash flood warning in southern Maryland, Dorchester County, under warning until 3:30 in the morning. That is the center of the tropical storm, and we expect that there's going to be a lot more heavy rain along the path of that as it continues out to the northeast. Plenty of heavy rain in Delaware tonight. That is starting to really pick up in southern Jersey. And by the way, these cells are showing some level of rotation, and that is what is coming up towards southern Jersey. So just be aware, there is some chance that we could see some tornado warnings there. Winds right now gusting to 25 Wallops Island, 26 in Dover. In Delaware, we'll see a lot more wind along the coast. This is the model forecast showing you that spin coming up and into Long Island tomorrow morning. We got absolutely clobbered by heavy rain in parts.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Nicorette knows quitting smoking is freaking hard. You get advice like, try hypnosis. Or quit cold turkey.
Kidding me?
Instead, start small with Nicorette, which can lead to something big. Start stopping with Nicorette.
This is J Country. Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder.
I will dig till my hands bleed.
Tubes of jade!
Cha-ching!
You never know what you're gonna find.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Takes a different kind of a person to want to do this.
Anything can shut you down.
Heaviest one yet. It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
In this business, sundown rarely means quitting time.
Center, median, 500 meters before exit 170.
Just after dark, a call comes in to help a truck that's in trouble.
Damn. Okay, he's just backing down the hill here.
Kevin has already rolled the rescue truck. Jamie and Brandon are close behind in the new rotator.
Must be up the road here north, Kevin.
It's a load of heavy plate glass windows bound for a new office tower.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And it's barely hanging on.
Yeah, I guess that's why the RCMP didn't want it falling on somebody or something.
I showed him where all of us holding it. I said, I got to get something done here.
Glass is so dangerous. A sheet could break and fracture. You know, you could get stabbed, you could lose an arm, you could lose a finger. They're really, really lucky that it hasn't come right off. So that's what's holding it on, that one corner up there. That's it. Hey, don't go under there, buddy. Get out of there. That's 12,000 pounds. You're dead.
And Brandon's inexperience is showing.
He didn't get what was going on there. One little thing and he'd been gone.
Brandon may not know his way around a wreck yet, but Jamie has one of his most experienced guys on the job. Kevin's been told to slow down and divert the traffic to the far side of the highway, away from the glass.
We need to make sure that we warn other motorists that are coming around the corner. This is the travel portion of the highway here, and even a heavy truck coming by here jiggling this load, they could come off and hurt somebody. So we'll set up some lane closure first. We need to run that as best you can with some signs, with what we got with our signs.
Okay.
Okay, get the cones out of the truck. We want cones.
Kevin said you didn't want cones.
In fact, Kevin has left the cones back at the yard.
Well, how are we gonna block this lane then without cones?
Fine, Jamie.
I'm gonna put the tow truck right in this lane.
Put it in this lane. Relax. There'll be one car an hour going by.
We're gonna need two guys flagging, one at each end with radios.
You don't have radios here.
Just do your thing. I got the salmon. Get out of my face. Just do your thing, okay?
Kevin comes up to me and he goes, don't you worry about it. I'm dealing with it.
Without radios or cones, controlling traffic will be more difficult and dangerous. But Kevin decides he's more useful working on the shifted glass. So he leaves Brandon to handle the traffic job solo.
Next thing I know, I see Brandon kind of standing in the lane, and he's doing traffic control all by himself with one wand. This isn't right, and I know it's not right. Now don't move at all.
But for now, Jamie can't worry about his inexperienced son on the narrow two-lane highway.
Really careful.
If the load shifts again, glass could come crashing down onto the highway. Jamie's plan to secure the load is to right the 3 skids of glass one at a time.
Be careful not to jiggle this thing too bad. We could have some issues here if we don't play our cards right. You could either have the glass all on the roadway, or we could have the glass breaking into itself. It's pretty touchy.
But Jamie has the new rotator tonight, and it's perfect for this precarious maneuver.
We can take these lines down to there and then just skid them out. We've got 4 different service lines to work with, so we can pull at the one time, we can lift, we can restrain on the other side. It's the perfect equipment.
Ready?
With the traffic diverted to the other side, Jamie is able to pull up right next to the trailer and swing the boom of his rotator right over top of the shifted load.
Good. We're good to go.
It ain't going anywhere now.
No, I don't think.
Jamie's plan works flawlessly. And as the driver resecures the load, Kevin keeps a low profile.
A lot of things I can let slide off my back, not a big deal, but that deal was just out of control. I told him tomorrow morning, buddy, I'll deal with you.
The next morning, tensions are still running high.
I've been his right-hand man from day one here. If he can't rely on me, he gets disappointed and upset. And I understand that. He ain't gonna bring it up again because he knows that I get it.
Hey, Kev, on this truck, we didn't have the equipment to do the traffic control. Like, you didn't have the radios, and you didn't have,
I don't think so.
Why not?
Don't even go there.
It's really bugging me, actually.
So what are you doing?
I'm just talking to you about it. Because we went to the job last night, right? Basically, in my mind, I'm thinking that you're not prepared, right? And I'm not trying. It's bugging me anyway.
You know what? I'm gonna go home.